Okay, so we are going to carry on now where we left off. Remember, we just took a look. Oops, let me just set my computer properly. We just took a look at this structure, and we were looking at the top part, right? So we had the problem statement, and then we had our point, and then we had these two signposts. Remember, signposts are no information, no kind of big information, no reason, no evidence. It's just sort of a headline. It really helps audiences adjust their brain to the topic. So let's have a quick review. This is how I'm going to start my presentation. So guys, one of the issues we're having is that our conversion rate is too low on the website. So we need to optimize the checkout stage. Now we can break this challenge into two key areas: simplification and payment choices. Now, I'm going to expand this a little bit more. We're going to go down a layer. And notice now I'm adding layers of logical structure, point, reason, evidence. And actually, I have point, and then I have signposts, reason, evidence. So now we have our point, signposts, and our reasons. Take a look at this. And I've added one more. I've added a new one, security, just to make it more challenging. So one of the issues we're having is that our conversion rate is too low on the website. Okay, that's our problem. So maybe I'm a salesperson, maybe I'm in IT, maybe our conversion rate on the website is 0.5%, and the industry average is 1%, right? That's a problem because it means we're doing badly. So we need to improve that conversion rate. So we need to optimize. Maybe my point today is I want everybody to focus on my goal, which is optimize the checkout stage. This is my point today. So I've got three signposts: simplification, payment choices, and security. And I've got reasons, and each signpost now has a reason. So for simplification, I put customers feel there are too many steps. For payment choices, I put we don't offer payment options that overseas customers use. And then for security, I put customers cannot feel the checkout stage is safe. Just take 5 seconds to look at this one more time. So just try to internalize that. So point, problem, sorry, the conversion rate's not good. Point, we need to optimize it. Signpost, simplification. Why? Customers feel there are too many steps. Signpost, payment choices. Why? Well, we don't offer payment options that customers overseas like. Why? Oh, sorry. Signpost, security. Why? Customers can't feel the checkout stage is safe. So at this stage, I've given my problem statement, I've given my point, I've signposted, and I've given the why, the reasons, but I have not given any evidence. This is where, again, we come back to a cultural problem. If you present like this in a meeting, then everybody will listen to you, but nobody will take action because nobody will believe you. And again, it doesn't matter if you're a nice person or if you're a smart person or if you're a confident person. English speakers have a real trust issue. And it's not because we don't like people, it's because we know we could be fired quickly. And so we need to trust that your information is absolutely really reliable. It's challenging, I know, it's a cultural concept here. So how do we put this, or how do we use language for this? So we can now start to break our signposts, and we can say, firstly, in terms of. So I'm looking now at the signpost stage. Firstly, in terms of. Notice in terms of is focusing language. So I'm focusing people on this topic. Firstly is telling them this is the first one. There could be more. Further. I always use further in meetings. It means my next point. And again, my focusing language when we consider. So in terms of when we consider, we can just change these. It doesn't matter the order. It doesn't matter. You could say, firstly, when we consider, further, in terms of, it doesn't matter. You can swap them around. Finally, and most importantly, looking at, and then that's my third one, security. So again, looking at, right? Looking at when we consider in terms of all of these are interchangeable. It doesn't matter the order. Here's another learning point. Make sure you have a hierarchy of points. Always have a hierarchy. In a previous webinar, I've talked about hierarchy of information, but always have a hierarchy. So you can say finally and most importantly, or you can move that to the start. You can move it right over to the start. You could say firstly and most importantly. But always have this idea of most importantly. If there is a hierarchy of information, if your information is flat, that's okay. I mean, that's your choice. But based on my experience, yeah, I'm going to sound really rude right now to some clients. Based on my experience, a lot of executives don't have the ability to focus for a long amount of time. And that's because they have so many problems happening. So they want me to focus their attention on the biggest priority. So I always say, firstly, and most importantly, or finally, and most importantly. So I either choose number one is the most important or the final one is the most important. If I have only two ideas, just two ideas, I can skip the middle one, right? So now let's present this. Let's present this to our, sorry. Let's present this to our audience. Watch me go through this process. So problem statement, point, signposts, reason one, reason two, reason three. Watch how I do it. One of the issues we're having is that our conversion rate is too low. So we need to optimize the checkout stage. We can break this challenge into three key areas: simplification, payment choices, and security. Firstly, in terms of simplification, customers feel there are too many steps. Further, when we consider the payment choices, we don't offer some payment options that many overseas customers use. Finally, and most importantly, looking at security, customers can't feel the checkout stage is safe. Wow. You might not think wow, but I promise you, for a native English speaker, if anybody delivers that kind of logical, strategic process, they're going to be extremely satisfied because their brain is focused on individual parts and they understand how the idea is structured. One thing I want to talk about now is these reasons. Notice these reasons here are not too detailed. They don't speak specifically about detail. And this is really important. This is on purpose. So customers feel there are too many steps. I could say customers don't like 7 steps and they would prefer to have 5 steps. I could say that, but that's not a good idea. I always want to filter my information from general to specific. So general is the headline, simplification. Then the reason adds information, but it doesn't go too specific. And then later, at the next step in part 3, we'll look at the evidence, how to provide that evidence. And again, payment choices, that's my headline. We don't offer some payment options that many overseas customers use. That's my reason. Again, it's not too specific. It's not talking about which payment options we offer, which ones we don't offer. It's generalizing the reason. And then the final one, security. So I've got that headline. And customers can't feel the checkout stage is safe. I'm not saying why or how or anything like that. I'm simply saying that they can't feel it's safe. So a big difference between the really high-end communicators and the chaotic communicators, and I'm going to use that phrase chaotic, is that often the chaotic communicators think they are communicating with a lot of detail. And they might be using a lot of detail, but they're not structuring their information strategically. Let me say that again. Having a lot of detail is nice, but having it too early is not nice. The brain doesn't have a natural ability to shift focus to the bottom end of the value chain, the bottom end of the detail. The brain likes to reset, go back to the main idea, and then drill down to that key point, that data, that detail, and then new idea, and then go down again. So let's do this one more time. And don't forget, this is not perfect because we're missing the evidence stage. But follow me through. Hey guys, good afternoon. So today I want to talk about our website. One of the issues we're having is that our conversion rate is too low on the website. So my team would like to optimize the checkout stage. We can break the challenge into three areas: simplification, payment choices, and security. So firstly, in terms of simplification, customers feel there are too many steps, blah, 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 blah. Further, when we consider payment choices, we don't offer some payment options that customers from overseas use. Finally, and most importantly, looking at security, customers can't feel that the checkout stage is safe. And again, don't forget, I'm going to add evidence later. Let's try with a new example, one more example. Okay, so here's my example, and I just made it simple. My problem, take a look at the top. My problem is that our customers can't understand how we are different to our competitors. So I feel we need to better communicate our value. This was inspired. I hope she's not listening. I had to buy a gift for a client recently. I not had to. I wanted to buy a gift for a client recently, and I went into Isetan in Shinjuku, and I was in the basement floor at the champagne and the wine section, and I said to the Isetan staff, "Can you show me the champagne?" And she said, "Okay, it's from here to here." And it was a long row of champagne. And I looked at it and I thought, "Oh my God, I don't know what the difference is." And I'm not a good champagne drinker. I don't know how to. I'm not good at wine. I'm sure you know the difference much better than me. And of course, I could see the price, but I didn't know which one was good, which one was bad. And finally, I bought the champagne that James Bond drinks. So yeah, if it's good for James Bond, it's probably good. So here's kind of a problem inspired by my recent experience. How do we understand this champagne is different to this champagne? So this is my proposal, and I structured my my point is we need to better communicate our value. That's my one point. So don't forget, I only have one point. One of the reasons why clients often say, "So what?" is that they can't understand your point is confusing. Make one point. Really try to centralize it to one point. And if you have 2 points, then do it again later. Do it again after. But really separate just into one point. So my point is we need to better communicate our value, maybe our value proposition. So I broke it down into three signposts: heritage, expertise, and customer satisfaction. These are really basic, okay? So don't judge me on these. These are pretty simple. And then my reasons are we're a very old company, really basic, okay? Expertise, our average employee has been with us for a long time. Customer satisfaction, we have industry-beating customer satisfaction rates, should have an S. Look at these reasons. I don't introduce any specific information. I don't say how old we are. I don't say the average employee period. I don't give the specific number. We have industry-beating customer satisfaction rates. Well, what are they? This is strategic. I want to set up a value chain of information for my listener to start communicating a story. I don't want to give everything first. I want to say, okay, now customer satisfaction. my reason. We have an industry-beating customer satisfaction rate. I want my listener to think, what is it? What is that rate? What is that number? Give me something to make me believe you. Tell me. That's the story I want happening in their brain. Now, the biggest problem is when people don't give that evidence, when they only give a reason. Yeah, we're a very old company. I was in a meeting just yesterday with a vendor, and the vendor said to me, "Yeah, this is one of our strong points. We have many good staff." What does that mean to me? You have many good staff. What's your evidence behind that? Why should I trust you? Any child can say we have very good staff. So make sure that your reasons set up your evidence. They really set up this opportunity to sort of knock out the client. So now let's put that into our structure. Here we go. Just like this. So one of the issues we're having is that our customers can't understand how we're different to our competitors. So I feel we need to better communicate our value. We can break this challenge into 3 key areas: heritage, expertise, and customer satisfaction. So firstly, and most importantly, in terms of heritage, we're a very old company. Further, when we consider expertise, our average employee has been with us for a long time. Finally, looking at customer satisfaction, we have an industry-beating customer satisfaction rate. So again, this is not a good example because I'm missing the evidence. And I'm missing the evidence. The listener is going to think, I don't believe you, but we'll finish with the evidence in the third part of this webinar. Okay, it's time for a quiz right now. Let's see what we learned in this second section. Okay.